He was the man who made the whole world laugh while quietly carrying pain no one could see. He fell from rooftops, broke his bones, risked his life again and again, not for fame, but for passion. He came from poverty, discipline, and loneliness, and turned every wound into strength. His name is Jackie Chan. But this is not just a story about an actor. It's the story of a boy who was abandoned, a fighter who refused to quit, a legend who gave everything, even his peace, to bring joy to others. In this video, you will discover how pain became his teacher, how failure became his fuel, and how his courage built one of the greatest legacies in cinema. And as you listen, you will not only learn about English, you will feel it. Because this story is told in simple, emotional, powerful English made for your mind, your heart, and your growth. Get ready to see success through new eyes. Get ready to meet the real Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan was born on April 7, 1954, in Hong Kong. His real name was Chan Kong Sang, which means born in Hong Kong. His parents had escaped from war in China. They arrived in the city with nothing but hope. His father worked as a cook, his mother as a housemaid. They were poor, tired, and struggling to survive. There was no time for toys, no time for hugs, no time for a real family. When Jackie was still very small, his parents had to make a painful decision. They sent him away so they could keep working. For years, he lived apart from them, learning early that love can sometimes mean distance. When Jackie turned 6, his parents moved to Australia for new jobs. They left him in Hong Kong and enrolled him in the China Drama Academy, a famous school for Chinese opera. But this was not a normal school. It was strict, cold, and hard. The master, Yu Jim Yuen, believed in discipline through pain. Children woke up before sunrise, trained for long hours, and slept on wooden floors. They practiced acrobatics, kung fu, singing, and acting until their bodies ached. Mistakes meant punishment. Tears meant nothing. The only rule was to obey. Jackie was small, but he learned fast. He could bend, flip, and jump better than most. Yet deep inside, he was lonely. There were no parents to comfort him, no gentle voices to tell him he was doing well. Only shouts, sweat, and silence. He cried every night, but no one came. In interviews, Jackie later said, "I used to cry every day, but no one cared. I just wanted to see my parents, but they never came." Those years shaped him more than any movie ever would. He learned endurance, patience, and focus. He learned that pain can be a teacher, that hard work can protect you when love cannot. In that world of bruises and discipline, a seed was planted, the seed of unstoppable strength. Years later, Jackie would remember those days not with anger, but with clarity. "I never forget where I came from," he said. "The days without food, the nights without sleep, they built who I am."
Inside the China Drama Academy, Jackie's world slowly changed. After years of tears and punishment, he began to find rhythm in the pain. The students trained together from sunrise to night, and among them, Jackie started to shine. His body became faster, his movements sharper, his control almost perfect. The master noticed his discipline and made him part of a special group called the 7 Little Fortunes. These were the top students, the best of the best. They traveled across Hong Kong, performing acrobatics, singing, and martial arts. On stage, Jackie smiled, jumped, flipped, and fought with perfect timing. Offstage, he was still that lonely boy, but the applause gave him something new, a reason to keep going. He felt alive for the first time. The team became his new family. Together, they trained, laughed, suffered, and learned to survive in a world where failure meant pain. Every day was a test of endurance. His muscles ached, his hands bled, his legs trembled, yet he never stopped. Years later, he would say, "Pain is my teacher. Every injury is a lesson." For 10 years, he lived like this, performing, rehearsing, practicing the same move hundreds of times until it was perfect. The master's voice echoed through his mind, again, again, again. Jackie learned how to fall without fear, how to smile through exhaustion, how to stand tall even when his body screamed to rest. The 7 Little Fortunes were admired in Hong Kong, but their fame brought no comfort. They earned little, slept on hard floors, and ate simple food. What they gained was something more valuable, the spirit of never giving up. Jackie became the leader of the group, not because he was the strongest, but because he inspired others to keep going. He showed that discipline could be stronger than pain. When he looked at his reflection in the mirror, he didn't see the small, weak boy he once was. He saw someone becoming unstoppable. In interviews, he later said, "I never wanted to be the best. I just never wanted to give up." That mindset would become his secret weapon for the rest of his life. Even as a teenager, Jackie understood that success was not about comfort or luck. It was about effort, repetition, and belief. The stage lights faded, the audience left, but he remained, training in silence, long after others had fallen asleep. It was in those quiet hours, covered in sweat and bruises, that Jackie Chan, the future legend, was born.
When Jackie left the China Drama Academy at 17, the real world hit him harder than any stick from his master. He had no diploma, no money, no family to support him. All he had were his skills and his will to survive. The streets of Hong Kong were crowded with young men just like him, all chasing the same dream of becoming someone. Jackie began taking small jobs on movie sets. He was a background fighter, a faceless body flying through the air after a punch. Sometimes he played a guard, sometimes a thief, sometimes just a man who falls. The pay was small, but the risk was enormous. Stuntmen in Hong Kong were treated like tools, easy to replace, easy to forget. Safety equipment was rare, and accidents were common. Jackie jumped from rooftops, rolled down stairs, crashed through tables, and hit the ground again and again. Every fall hurt, but he never complained. He believed that one perfect stunt could change his life. In 1973, he was hired as a stuntman on a film called Enter the Dragon. The star was Bruce Lee, the biggest name in martial arts cinema. Jackie admired Bruce deeply, and during one fight scene, Bruce accidentally hit him harder than planned. Jackie fell and hit his head, but instead of shouting, Bruce stopped filming and helped him up.
It was a small moment, but for Jackie, it meant everything. Someone he respected had noticed him, cared for him. Later, he would say, "Bruce Lee taught me something important, to respect people no matter who they are." That moment planted a dream. Jackie thought, maybe one day I can stand where he stands, but in my own way. After Bruce Lee's sudden death, the industry looked for a new martial arts star. Many tried to copy Bruce's power and seriousness, but Jackie knew he could never be him. He was different, clumsy, funny, unpredictable. So he decided to turn weakness into strength. He mixed comedy with kung fu, danger with laughter. Every time he fell, the audience laughed, but they also felt his pain. His stunts looked impossible because they were real. He once said, "I never do a stunt just to look cool. I do it to make people feel something real." Jackie kept working day and night. He studied how bodies moved on camera, how timing could make pain look beautiful. He trained himself to fall safely, to react fast, to control fear. Each movie brought more scars, but also more confidence. Slowly, his name began to appear on the credits. Directors started trusting him. In the late 1970s, he finally got his own leading role in a film called Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. For the first time, he could show his true style: fast, funny, fearless. Audiences loved it. He wasn't the perfect hero like Bruce Lee. He was the underdog who failed, got hurt, and still stood up. Then came Drunken Master, and everything changed. Jackie became a star in Asia almost overnight. His mix of humor and danger created a new kind of martial arts movie. He proved that you could make people laugh and still inspire them to be brave. Behind the smiles and action scenes, though, Jackie carried invisible pain: broken bones, bruised skin, and endless exhaustion. But for him, it was worth it. "I risk my life for every scene, because when people smile, I forget the pain." That was the beginning of the legend, a man who turned every fall into a step toward greatness.
Hollywood came calling, and for a moment, Jackie thought his dream had finally come true. The producers wanted a new martial arts star, someone to follow Bruce Lee's path. They believed Jackie could be that man. He was flown to America, given a script, and placed in front of big cameras with English-speaking actors. But soon, the dream began to crack. The directors told him to fight like Bruce Lee, serious, strong, and perfect. They didn't understand his rhythm, his humor, his timing. Every time he tried to add comedy or creativity, they said no. Jackie felt trapped in someone else's idea of success. When The Big Brawl was released in 1980, it failed. Critics laughed, audiences were confused, and Jackie's confidence collapsed. Later he said, "I tried to be Bruce Lee, but I can't. Bruce is Bruce, and I am Jackie." Back in Hong Kong, people still loved him, but he was not satisfied. He didn't want to be a local hero. He wanted to build something the world had never seen: real action mixed with heart, humor, and truth. So he returned home and started doing everything his own way. He directed his films, designed his stunts, wrote scripts, and even sang theme songs. He pushed the limits of what a human body could do on screen. In Project A, he fell from a clock tower onto the ground without wires. In Police Story, he slid down a pole covered in lights and ended up in the hospital. In Armor of God, he cracked his skull during a tree jump and nearly died. But even in pain, he refused to stop. He once said, "Don't try to be the best.
Be the only. That's how you win. His films became wild, full of danger and real emotion. There were no special effects, no green screens, no tricks. Only real fear and courage. The audiences could feel it. When he fell, they held their breath. When he stood up and smiled again, they cheered. That was Jackie's magic. Every scene was a lesson in resilience. He broke bones, lost teeth, dislocated shoulders, yet still returned to finish the movie. He said, "I do my own stunts so the audience can believe it's real. If they believe it, they will remember it." From 1985 to the mid-1990s, Jackie became a one-man army. Police Story, Armor of God, Project A, and Drunken Master 2 made him a legend across Asia. He turned pain into art, danger into joy. He built a team of loyal stuntmen, people who trusted him with their lives. Together, they created a new language of cinema, fast, physical, emotional. Hollywood began to notice again. But this time, Jackie wasn't begging for a chance. He was bringing something that no one else could offer. He had built his empire on risk, discipline, and laughter. Behind every jump, though, there was silence after the applause. Moments when he sat alone, holding ice to his swollen hands, wondering how long his body could take it. Yet, even then, he smiled. Pain to him was proof of passion. He said, "We learn by falling. If you never fall, you never grow." Jackie Chan's career was no longer about fame. It was about showing the world what was possible when you give everything, even your blood, for your dream.
By the late 1990s, Jackie Chan had conquered Asia. His films filled cinemas across Hong Kong, China, and Japan. People admired his humor, his timing, and his courage. But Jackie wanted more. He wanted to prove himself to the entire world. Hollywood came again, and this time, Jackie was ready to enter on his own terms. In 1998, he starred in Rush Hour alongside Chris Tucker. The mix of fast action and comedy was fresh, and audiences everywhere fell in love. The movie exploded at the box office, and Jackie became an international star. He was finally recognized not as the next Bruce Lee, but as Jackie Chan, one of a kind. "I never wanted to be another person," he said. "I just wanted to be myself, to do what I love, my way." More American films followed: Shanghai Noon, Rush Hour 2, The Tuxedo, The Medallion, and later, Kung Fu Panda, where he gave voice to Master Monkey. Jackie's face was now everywhere: posters, talk shows, magazines, and awards. He was rich, respected, and loved by millions. But behind the fame, something began to hurt in a different way. His body had carried him through decades of danger, but now it was his heart that carried pain. While he was traveling the world, jumping between film sets, interviews, and stages, his family lived in silence. His son, Jackie Chan, grew up without a father who was truly there. Jackie gave him everything: toys, cars, comfort, but not time. "I gave my son everything except myself," he later admitted. The distance grew. Jackie had been raised by discipline and fear, and he didn't know how to show softness. When he tried to teach his son lessons, he used anger instead of care. Years later, he confessed, "I was too hard. I thought being tough was love."
JC tried to follow his father's path in entertainment, but the world compared him endlessly. Every performance was judged against the image of Jackie Chan. The pressure was unbearable. In 2014, JC was arrested in Beijing for drug possession and sent to prison for 6 months. The news shocked the world. Jackie felt crushed. He released a public apology, saying, "I feel ashamed as a father. This is my failure. I didn't guide him well." For a man known for control and courage, it was one of his most painful moments. Fame had given Jackie everything: money, awards, fans, but it had taken the one thing he didn't know he needed most: connection. He began to reflect on his life, the years of sacrifice, the broken bones, the endless work. What was it all for? He realized success meant nothing without values. When you're young, you think money is everything. When you grow older, you understand that love and peace are more important. Jackie began focusing on charity, supporting schools, helping children, and funding projects for young filmmakers and stunt performers. He wanted others to learn from his mistakes, to chase dreams, but not at the cost of people they love. Despite the emotional scars, Jackie continued to work, but now with a different purpose. He wanted to inspire, not just impress. On stage, he smiled brighter, spoke softer, and bowed deeper. He knew how fragile life was and how easily time disappears. His success was no longer measured by ticket sales, but the impact he left behind. The best life, he said, is not about how high you climb, but how many people you lift with you.
As the years passed, Jackie's body began to slow down, but his spirit never did. The man who once jumped from rooftops and crashed through glass walls now moved carefully, feeling every old injury in his bones. Each scar told a story of risk, of courage, of dreams that cost blood. Doctors warned him to stop performing dangerous stunts, but Jackie couldn't simply let go of the life that defined him. So he changed his mission. He would no longer be the one flying through the air. He would teach others how to fly. He created training programs for young stunt performers, helped build film schools, and opened foundations for poor children. "I don't want to be remembered for money or fame," he said. "I want to be remembered for helping others." He spent more time teaching than acting, guiding the next generation to work safely and passionately. His lessons were simple but powerful. Respect your team, practice until perfect, and never fake what you can do for real. Jackie believed the true legacy of an artist was not in trophies, but in people. He started building museums to preserve Hong Kong cinema, collecting costumes, props, and old film reels. He funded schools in rural areas, hospitals, and disaster relief projects. The boy who once slept on wooden floors was now building roofs for others. "When you have more than you need," he said, "build a longer table, not a higher wall." His days became slower, quieter. He enjoyed watching the sunrise, spending time with his old stunt team, and visiting students who grew up inspired by his films. They saw him not as a superstar, but as a teacher who gave them courage to keep trying. Jackie found peace in small things: a morning walk, a smile from a stranger, or a letter from a fan who learned hope through his movies. The applause was softer now, but it still reached his heart.
He knew he couldn't erase the mistakes of his past, especially with his son. The distance between them still existed, but he accepted it as part of his journey. Instead of hiding his regrets, he shared them openly to warn others. Your children don't need you to be a hero. They need you to be there. For him, wisdom was born from pain. Even as he aged, Jackie's presence continued to fill screens around the world. His old movies were watched by new generations, and his name became a symbol of effort, kindness, and authenticity. Awards came, lifetime achievements, humanitarian honors, statues and streets named after him, yet Jackie stayed humble. He often repeated, "I'm not better than anyone. I just never gave up." Now, in his later years, Jackie sees his life not as a movie, but as a message. A reminder that greatness is not about perfection, but about persistence. The child who was beaten into discipline became the man who taught the world resilience. The stuntman who fell 1,000 times became the teacher who showed millions how to rise. His legacy breathes in every young dreamer who dares to try, who learns to turn pain into power and effort into art. Jackie Chan has given everything, and in doing so, he has already achieved the rarest victory: to live a life that will keep inspiring others long after the lights go out.
And now you know the truth behind the legend. Jackie Chan was never just a movie star. He was a fighter, a builder, a teacher, a man who turned pain into laughter and failure into strength. He showed the world that real heroes don't wear capes. They fall, they bleed, they rise, again and again. He proved that success is not about luck or talent, but about heart, patience, and the courage to keep going when no one believes in you. He broke his bones, but never his spirit. He lost time, but never his purpose. And even when the lights fade, his story will keep shining in every person who refuses to give up. So, when life knocks you down, remember Jackie Chan. Smile, stand up, and try one more time, because that's how legends are made. If this story moved your heart and helped your English grow, subscribe now and keep learning through real stories of real people who never stopped fighting. This is more than English. This is life. And your story is just beginning.
Thanks! Please subscribe and like. Spin a new yarn with us every week. See you there!